Let's keep it pushing to the next topic really quickly before we get to our first little break here. And talk about Jonathan Majors, um, who the Loki star says he can't say anything about Kang's future amid rumors he'll make an MCU return. This is comic book movie reporting with Josh Wilding. In December of 23, Loki and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumanium star Jonathan Majors was found guilty of one count of reckless assault in the third degree and a charge of harassment as a violation, prompting Marvel Studios to immediately sever ties with him. That came after an altercation with his then girlfriend, Grace Jabari, though Majors has long maintained his innocence. He's since completed a 52-week domestic violence intervention program, and following the low-key release of Magazine Dreams, which once looked like it might land him an Oscar, the actor hopes to mount a comeback. Could Marvel Studios give him a second chance in the MCU as Kang? His take on the time-traveling villain was well received by fans and critics, and we're still waiting for an explanation when it comes to the pivot from Kang to Doctor Doom as the multiverse saga's big bad. At the very least, the hope is that we'll discover how Doom dealt with Kang, especially as Loki and the Ant-Man threequel star established him as a threat to the multiverse ahead of what sounded like another multiversal war. The U.S. Sun spoke with Majors, and he supposedly grinned ear to ear upon being asked about rumors he'll make an MCU return. I cannot say anything about that. He started trying to play coy, but unable to hide his smile, according to the outlet. Push on whether there's anything in the works, Majors responded, well, it's a multiverse, so there's always that. Always a lot of opportunity for that, he noted, adding that he is very glad to hear that many fans want him back. Earlier this year, the He Who Remains actor reflected on a member of his legal team breaking the news to him that his time in the MCU had ended moments after he walked out of criminal courthouse in Lower Manhattan. He goes, I'm just going to tell you now, that way you're not surprised and you can start processing it. They fired you, Marvel fired you, Majors recalled. There were days when it was like, is this real? He said of the weeks that followed, it's a heartbreak like I've never experienced, and it just compounded and compounded. No relation to the big guys, DC or Marvel, but a pretty wicked story, Majors said of another superhero project he's now circling. I'm glad to be reading. Talking about the resumption of his career, Majors added, sometimes it feels like it's not going to happen, and sometimes it feels like we start next week. Original plans called for the next Avengers movie to be titled The Kang Dynasty. It's since been renamed Doomsday, though the multiversal saga is set to conclude with Secret Wars. A cameo from Majors, while highly unlikely, is still possible. Doomsday is next December. Secret Wars is December of 27. All right. So I guess my first question to you is, what were your thoughts of Kang as like a character? Like, were you into Kang and He Who Remains and kind of the tease of the Council of Kangs, or are you okay with just kind of moving on, or did you not like it? And then are you cool with him coming back and trying to wrap that up, or do you want to just move on off screen?
I always love getting new boots, and Brunt, man, sent me some great ones. They sent me these boots called the Marin. Man, they're so comfortable. I like the way I look at them. I couldn't believe how comfortable they were. And right out of the box, sometimes you got to wear them in. It was like, it just fit like a glove, as they say. To me, a lot of times I'm wearing these boots and I'm like, okay, I've been wearing them for a month. I'm wearing them 2 months. Put these on right away. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. So Brunt really stands behind what they make. You can wear them to work, and if they're not right for you, you send them back. I don't know any other brand that's doing that. It's a company that believes in their product. It's really the most comfortable boots that I think that I've ever worn. They're comfortable, as I said, right out of the box. There's no long, painful breaks. They're the best. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up, so they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. For a limited time, our listeners will get that $10 off at Brunt. You got to use the code Christian at checkout. Head to bruntworkwear.com, use the code Christian, and you're good to go. After you're going to order that one, they're going to ask you, they're going to say, where'd you hear about Brunt? Do us a favor and tell them it was from this show.
Ooh, lots to unpack. So, as a character, as the character Kang, I really enjoyed him in Loki. I thought he was so interesting when we first meet him, so bombastic, so like a good challenge, a good foil to Loki, who always seems so calm and in control. to have somebody who kind of just like throws things at you. The jump on the
Yeah.
table, honestly, is one of the things where I was like, oh no, this is a good foil to Tom Hiddleston here, of just somebody who keeps him on his toes, who keeps the
Right.
trickster going. What is his next move? I really enjoyed what we saw then later on with one of his iterations in the second season. I thought that was also fantastic and beautifully performed. Regardless of how anyone feels about Jonathan Majors, there's no denying that he is an excellent actor. He is a wonderful, gifted actor.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed those moments. Kang and Ant-Man, not so much. Didn't enjoy that as much, but mostly because I didn't enjoy the Ant-Man film as a whole. I didn't really enjoy Quantumania. My biggest issue with Kang was I kept being told he was a threat. I didn't see
Right.
him be a threat.
Right.
And that's my biggest issue with storytelling in general. Don't tell me, show me.
Right.
And I think Marvel in general, a lot of times, does have an issue with their villains. Aside from Loki and Thanos, we have so many one-off guys. Folks on the internet who have been watching me, you know that Gore the God Butcher is one of my faves. And that was something I was so disappointed in. This is the guy who was baptized in the blood of gods, and we used him for
Right.
one movie, and it was that one? What a
Right.
bummer. So I feel like we need to go back to having a big through line villain, somebody who is an actual threat. And if they can give me a Kang who does that, I'm not mad about that. I just feel like as of right now, he's not the guy, because I haven't seen any of that. Ooh, he's actually a really big bad. I've just seen a large council of Kang that made me go, oh, that's neat. And then a couple cool moments in Loki.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel on the character.
No, I understand that, and I liked He Who Remains, and I liked Victor Timely.
Yeah.
I did not like Kang. There were moments, sure, but yeah, it was definitely wasted. The Council of Kangs, I agree, was very fascinating. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. The Council of
Am
Kangs
I
was
boring
very
you?
Yes. Yes. That is exactly
Fair,
correct.
fair. No, I appreciate the honesty. Let me get better. I gotta get better at this job.
But yeah, no, it was high points, but it wasn't consistent. Like again, the main introduction to Kang felt like a waste. And I say the main introduction as in making him a villain in Quantumania and how that went down. It felt like a waste personally. And I think I understand what people are saying about him getting beaten by the ants and all that, and having that discussion. I think what would have been better if the council had not said he was the most powerful of us all. I think people would have been fine. It would have been better if it was like, well, he was the weakest of us. I'm not surprised. That would have actually made more sense.
Yeah.
Then it would have been like oh, that was like when you're watching anime and you're like, oh man, it was so hard to beat that guy. Bro, that was one of his shadow clones. That's not even the real guy. And you're like, oh shit. Like that's what I thought they were doing. And they kind of said the exact opposite. So it nerfed his own lore. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's the only thing that I think why people were like, yeah, we can move on, is because of that. It's not for a lack of performance from Jonathan Majors. He acted his ass off, but the way the character was written was just not written well. The only iterations of him that were written well were in Loki, but not in that movie. And that really kind of threw things to the side. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
For the sake of the way my brain works, I do not want to just hear, have Doom come in and be like, Kang, that fool, I killed him and his entire council. Like that's not.
I hate those.
Like that's
so much. Somehow Palpatine returned. I don't.
honestly,
I don't like it.
The dead speak. Like it's just that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So for the sake of just putting at least somewhat of a bow, even if he's only in for a minute, the Kangs are like, okay, we go to invade, and then Doom just does his own little snap of some sort, and all the Kangs disappear. I don't know, but I need a little something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a little something. So
How do you feel about Jonathan? Oh,
I'm laughing because
Yeah.
somebody caught wind. They said Winston out here talking about Madara and it's just the Susanoo clones against the 5 Kage. Someone saw me sneaking in there. They saw me just go like
they just work that in there.
I'm just gonna work that
But
in real
How
quick.
how do you feel about Jonathan Majors returning?
Yeah. So my thoughts about Jonathan Majors returning, I have kind of said the same thing that I have felt anytime someone ends up in these kind of scenarios. He served the sentence that he was given. Like the time has been spent. Whether or not the people want to accept him back is its own choice. People are allowed to feel the way they feel about somebody, but like my main thought process is this: if we're supposed to believe in the justice system and we're supposed to believe in rehabilitation and all that kind of stuff, if this was the time that he was sentenced for that whole situation and it's been served, then he's allowed to come and try and make a comeback, in my opinion. And that, like, it is what it is. And considering also what the specific charges were, yes, I know it was involved with like a DV case, but specifically what had happened and the evidence that came out and all the kind of stuff like that, and the fact that she dropped any other charges and stuff like that, then again, I think that the sentence was served, and let's see what happens one way or the other. That's just my 2 cents. Like I'm the first one that I get a little frustrated with. Like, I know what Michael Vick back in the day did was horrendous. It was horrible, but he served a very long prison sentence for it. I think it was like 5 or 6 years, something like that. And then on top of that, is one of the biggest advocates for stopping animal cruelty since that happened, and really not only amending his ways but stopping other people that grew up the way that he did from doing anything like that himself. So that is someone that has truly gone about the process of changing who they are and trying to make the world a better place in a way that he made it a worse place. So like, I'm of the mindset that he is rehabilitated and should be given that opportunity again. Jonathan served the time. I'm hoping that he's doing other things to try and prevent other scenarios like that. If there's like talks he's giving or things like that, or giving back, I think that'd be great. But the sentence is served. So that's where I'm kind of at with that personally. What about you?
Similar, where I understand that the actual legal court and the court of public opinion are very different, and everyone is absolutely entitled to their how they feel about something. What I always come back to too is there are, and it's not meant to be apples and oranges. It's not meant to be a comparative thing or a suffering contest, but there are so many problematic men in Hollywood who have done what I feel are far more egregious things.
Yeah.
Who did not serve any time, who immediately were in huge tentpole movies.
Yep.
Some of which I'm not going to go see that movie because I personally know what a monster that person is from friends and colleagues and everything who did not get their day in court because of privilege or because of a lack of people backing someone up or whatever. And I understand if individuals are wary of working with anybody.
1,000%.
I definitely have that. I'm sure you have that of just, I know that guy. There are certain like comedic actors who I'm like, oh no, I know that guy sucks. And I'm just like, I wouldn't want to do a show with him.
Yep.
But I come back to what you said too, of time was served. If people feel comfortable working with him as well on top of that, then why not? Because I do firmly believe that people should not be judged on their worst day. There's obviously exceptions to that rule. There are some people in this world that are capable of just pure evil. And that's just an unfortunate truth of the world we live in. But if you do work to better yourself, if you do work to become a better person, if the person who pressed charges, and that whole case was so messy to begin with, but also then also viewed the changes you made to make amends as worthy, I feel like I should take that person as face value. Of course, this is me just glossing over a lot of ideas too, with like domestic abuse cases. Obviously, a lot of people drop charges for a multitude of reasons.
Absolutely.
But what I always come back to too is I wasn't in the room. I wasn't in that court. I didn't get to listen to every bit of evidence. I got to see what the news fed me. And if everyone else is okay with it, then yeah.
I get it. And without going too far into a tangent, I again, like Kris said, it's a case by case basis. Like, I have never been comfortable ever giving Chris Brown any sort of second chance to just talk about somebody that did something significantly worse and there was full evidence for that, and then has had a pattern of continuing to be that person since that point. So I could never rock with him again. The way some people pretend like it never happened is crazy, because it feels like once every 6 to 9 months, some other thing comes out about him in another altercation with another woman, or fighting other random people in clubs and things like that, that it's just like, nah, bro, you have not done the work to change.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I'm like, that to me is where like you can see potentially a difference there. Whereas
there's one or two guys in my brain when I was talking.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, I think there are differences on that one way or the other. And so far it sounds like Jonathan Majors has done the work. But again, I understand if people don't want to work with him, and I also understand people if they don't want to support him. I like it. Some people have a line where they're things that it doesn't matter, even if it's the smallest, whatever that's it. I'm done. But yeah, I agree. I think the idea of judging someone on their worst day, if their worst day feels like a pattern of other days, then we're having a different conversation. That to me again goes back to the, like, say the Chris Brown example. But if it's like the one thing, it's like, okay, are you genuinely away from that? But it's either here nor there. We will see. Marvel will make the decision ultimately, but we're curious what you think. Are you cool with Kang coming back? Do you want to see that story wrapped up? Are you cool just pretending like it never happened and moving on? Let us know what you think in the comments, man.